Charlotte, do you want to say anything before we part?
No, not a thing. Not a thing.
Do you want to say anything during the...
I'll leave it up to you.
Okay. You've just talked in riddles since you got in here.
You don't know what...
You're like a Christmas riddler.
Like a Christmas cracker.
No, that's what I'm hoping for between the opening credits and the closing credits.
What you should have done... No, sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. What you could have done was get some Christmas crackers and hope that one of them had that fish that you put in your palm. Then you would know what mood I was in.
How does it work?
Well, if it's like tail up, it means vibrant, doesn't it? Or
no idea.
It's just a little plastic fish that that's probably the best way of determining my mood. That's what I'm saying.
No other way, just the plastic fish. So only once a year you can determine your mood.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Hello and welcome to episode 92 of I'm Fine, a chat around the subjects of health, wealth and well-being with myself, Damo, and the only person that comes to mind this time of year. The time of year where we all get excited about finding an old man with a grey beard breaking into your house and troughing on all the crisps and chocolate that you've been saving up. Mr. Christmas himself, Mark.
But I've shaved.
Yeah,
my beard's gone.
There's still whiskers.
Remnants.
Yeah.
Oh, little story. Can you see underneath?
Christmas story?
No. Can you see under there a mark?
What, under your chin?
On my neck, yeah.
Have you slashed yourself, have you?
This will make you smile. I decided to have a shave because I look like a fucking tramp. I look like a tramp a lot, but I look more tramp.
Not me.
No,
don't
you go fighting that. No, don't. Don't.
No.
Okay, so I look like a tramp a lot of the time. I accept that. A good-looking tramp.
That was a good-looking tramp.
So I decided to do something about it. So I thought I'll still dress like a tramp, but I'll have a shave.
Right.
Had a shave. Set it on 2, which is like just stubbly.
Yeah. Is that what the setting's called? Or is it just called 2?
Yeah, no, it's called 2.
Stubbly's a good name for a setting.
Yeah. And, have you heard about the bloody Beano?
No.
Oh, they're changing the names
of the characters. I don't read it
anymore. They're changing the names of the characters.
To what?
To ones that aren't going to upset people.
Oh, the ones that upset people?
So Spotty is now Scotty.
What's wrong with Spotty? Oh, because he's got a skin problem. Okay.
And Fatty is now Freddy. What? It's true.
Carry on.
So, where was I? Oh yeah, tramp. So, I decided to have a shave today. Put stubbly setting on 2, thinking this is going to look just, I don't know, a little
hot.
Bit. Yeah, a little bit, what's the guy?
Edgy?
LA Law, no.
LA Law. Okay.
George Clooney.
Could you have a reference that's not 30 years old? George Clooney, okay, right, yeah. Okay.
A little bit George Clooney. And as I was shaving, thought to myself, this is quite effective. Right.
What, you were halfway through going, oh, here comes George?
No, I just thought there's a lot of hair in the sink.
Right.
I'd taken, well, no, I'm not saying I'd taken, it had fallen off the safety guard.
Oh, so you're on a like a 0.
I just had a raw blade and I put it on my neck.
Oh yeah. I can't see.
Well, it's not major. No, I didn't.
No, you haven't lost blood, have you?
Tiny bit.
Right. Okay.
Tiny bit.
Not enough to.
But what I'm saying is, I didn't put the safety guard on.
Oh.
So it could have been
safety first, Mark.
Oh, no, I was just thinking content there. I can do this from a hospital bed.
Yeah, right.
Skips COVID for 2 years and then slashes his neck.
Excellent work. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this.
Mouthful of madness.
The network here is done. You have a mouthful of Dusty 8 coffee. As soon as it's kind of probably our last. Good, very good. That wasn't even written down either.
No. It's our last what?
So Phil, Mr. Dusty Ape himself, called me yesterday, I think, and said he's, amongst other things, he's happy that the pod is back. Good. Delighted, in fact.
Coffee pod.
Yeah, don't say that. He doesn't know. He's not a fan of those.
Just a little comment on that. Nespresso have been doing an advert on Instagram going, "We're here to look after the world.
Yeah.
And here's a few things you can do."
What?
And I'm thinking, those aluminium pods, no matter the fact that you're getting them...
Oh, is it because they're aluminium now? They think they're,
Aluminum.
They think... Yeah,
well, actually, I should have said what it is in Chinese, because we're getting a lot of Chinese listeners.
What is it?
I
Don't do an accent.
I'm not... No, I was just going to say aluminium in Chinese.
You have that look in your eye today.
No, I'm not. No accent. They all sound Italian or Indian.
Yeah, China is like our third biggest.
Yeah.
Wow. Good, huh?
Great. Love China.
Yeah. China. That's how you normally say it. Don't be all
Trump-esque, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You normally, every time I say it, you
see,
straight off mic, you go China. Like that. You're not doing it because you're being good.
No, I love the fact that we're listened to in China, because I've got a feeling, because the internet is sort of obviously closely guarded, that there's like...
Oh, in China? Oh, yeah, they've let us through, haven't they?
We've got through.
We've got through the firewall.
Or
didn't even think
there's
about that.
like sort of...
Or the Great Firewall.
Guerrilla underground...
That's a joke, Mark. The Great Firewall. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, Guerrilla what?
There's not many things that annoy me, but that is one.
There's 1,000 things not enough.
No, when people go, "Oh yeah, it's one of only the few man-made things that can be seen from space." We've discussed this before.
We have, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Get a bloody life. Of course, it's tiny. It's no bigger than a house. The fact that it's long doesn't make it easier to see from space.
Okay, finished?
Yes.
What are you saying, gorillas what?
No, I just imagine that the people in China are sort of with tinfoil hats and under heavy blankets, so they don't get caught listening to these words of wisdom.
Do you think they're down at the bus stop, like whispering to each other?
Yeah, did you hear about Mark's accident? Oh, thank God he didn't cut himself badly.
He almost cut his head off.
Yeah.
What an idiot. Sorry. I got one on me tonight. I'm feeling tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just going to...
I had no idea how it's going to go.
I've had quite a bashing today already, actually. That
Good
sounds
for you.
wrong, sorry.
Good for you.
It's Christmas.
I mean, you've not had much work on. Got to keep warm as well, haven't you? What?
Don't.
What?
Don't.
You could start a fire, or you could do that, couldn't you?
What, rub two pieces of wood together?
Yeah. So you can...
Did you mean that? It works.
You can follow us all on Instagram as imfinecast. and search for all of our episodes by category and tag on our website, our lovely website, imfinecast.com. Go there, it's excellent. And feel free to drop us a line at imfinecast@gmail.com. So coming up, this is kind of our Christmas special. So buckle up your sleigh belts, grab hold of your baubles, because we're heading off to Tinseltown.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone who's listened before will know that's absolute horseshit. Cause
it's just going to be doom and gloom and
pretty much
talk
is.
about COVID, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And my love affair with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, still. Yeah.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, so on that very thing, in the last episode, before we talked about addiction, we talked about that Joe Rogan episode with Dr. Peter McCullough. And I listened to it. I'm over halfway.
Okay.
And I've still got 7 hours to go. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's long. And there's a lot going on in there. There is a lot. And this guy does... I don't think there's a bit like us. There's not an there's not an R, there's not a gap in his...
Doesn't draw breath, does
He's got a lovely kind of... You can listen to him for ages. He's got a lovely kind of... He could probably do one of those car maps. You know, just talk about talk about scientific things and just kind of make you nod off. It's very good. And... it's kind of one of those things that's kind of difficult to talk about because there's nothing better than just listening to it yourself.
Yeah, it's hard to process, isn't it?
No, it is, yeah. I sent it to my mum and she kind of got halfway through and she just sent me one of the, the brain exploding emojis.
Yeah.
It's a real eye-opener, isn't it?
And thanks for someone with an aneurysm, thanks.
What?
Although I do owe your mum an apology.
She sent it me?
Yeah.
What, for...
I haven't replied to her email. She sent me a very, very long and very, very nice email.
What, that was ages ago, wasn't it?
No, a couple of days ago.
I sent you an email. What, just you?
She
hasn't got your email address.
She found it.
No, she didn't.
She did.
What? Found your personal email address?
You look like...
What are you doing with my mum? What are you doing with my mum?
Yeah, no. I'm sure it's an email. Yeah.
Do you want to read it out?
No.
Why? Is it private?
No, there's just embarrassing things about you in it.
Right, fair enough.
It's mostly about you.
She didn't put those pictures of me when I was younger with my wonky fringe, because they're all up the stairs. And I imagine, I don't know, is it? I guess people of my age, maybe with parents of my age, probably who have kids of my age. have all the way. It's like the rogue gallery up the stairs, up the hallway stairs. You know, with all my pictures from yesteryear when I was a little baby, and then when I was a bit bigger baby, with wonky fringes because my mum cut my hair.
Okay.
Because she was too tight to take us down the hairdressers. And then the fringes kind of either get straighter or disappear, and then there's ones with me kind of graduating looking like a complete dick. But yeah, so there you go.
I didn't have a lot of photos of me. I found photos of me since my parents have died that I've never seen before, so that was exciting. Oh, right. And I've got, as I said to you, some of the old cine film.
Oh, right.
So that's a reference to back in the day.
I know what cine film is.
Yeah, you do, but there's going to be a lot of youngsters.
Going, what's that?
Yeah, idiot.
Yeah.
So
you've got the kind of slow, the kind of that, like, it'd be like a Buster Keaton movie, will it?
Yeah.
Harold Lloyd.
Yeah.
He's got the...
I saw
it
Charlie...
kind of speeds up at the beginning. You look like you're doing everything really fast.
And buildings keep falling over us. That's brilliant, that one, isn't it?
Hanging off like a back of a tram off the...
Yeah. I saw a clip from Charlie Chaplin. I don't know how I saw this or where I saw this, but he went to lean on a bar.
Yeah.
And the person next to him grabbed him by the belt on his trousers. So he'd like gone full down.
Right.
As if and this guy just grabbed him and then pulled him up.
Back.
And I thought it was very Fools and Horses with the bar scene. It was... No, there's nothing new, is there? There's nothing new under the sun.
There isn't, no.
Except our material.
Yeah. Where it goes, nobody knows. So the McCullough interview is very good. It is I think we kind of talked about it on yesterday when we met, didn't we?
Yeah.
In our little debrief. And it's one of those things where you have to kind of take a lot of things. No, I want to say with a pinch of salt. You talked about your confirmation bias, confirmation bias of the last episode, and I think it's important that you kind of listen to it. And there's lots of bombshells in there. There's a lot of bombshells, and I think it's just good to kind of listen to it with a bit of an open mind. Yeah, and all the things he's saying, I can't argue necessarily, but I'm sure there are lots of people out there who are trying to.
Yeah, and as I said to you, I listened to someone
certainly discredit him,
who I think has failed miserably. And I'll probably have a chat with Matt on Friday because he sent that through. I just think...
It is one of those things where if all of or a majority of the things he was saying was crap, then there'd be a lot more people trying to take him down and taking him down with gusto right now. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they can't.
No, they can't take him down. Well, there are going to be holes. There's holes in every single argument.
They can't shoot him down only with other facts, maybe.
The general tenant of his argument, is that right?
I don't know.
Tenant? I think it is. I mean, for example, one of the things about, is it monoclonal antibodies? Yeah. And Joe Rogan says that alongside ivermectin, he thinks was key in his... The guy who was discrediting him was going, but they're really tricky to give because they have to be IV and they take a lot of time. This was the guy who was trying to discredit it. And I'm going, you're a doctor that's saying it's taking a long time to inject someone when we're just about to do however many tens of millions. That didn't ring true. And then today I just saw something, I don't even know where it was, but on social media, it was just like a little banner going across. I've been trying to find it. It said something like 4.2 million doses of monoclonal antibodies are going to be used as pre-treatment before hospitalisation. And right. I think for NHS staff, I can't get the story. Yeah. So I went onto the government website on the NHS, and there is something there saying, dated just a couple of days ago, but basically these pre-treatments are now going to be used.
Yeah, and you think, why now?
And I went, 2 years in? You're going to try and do something before hospitalisation?
A lot of them were there fairly early on, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, they've been there forever.
Yeah, then suddenly, we've made a vaccine in the weekend, and everyone goes, what's impossible? It's like, well, actually, there's loads of treatments and home treatments, which is the big thing I got from that interview, which is there's lots of things that are available and have been available. And are relatively inexpensive from what I understand.
Which is probably part of the problem.
That could be, of course, but that could be used. Now, just on the news, just before you kind of came around, Dr. Catherine Smallwood, who is the senior emergency officer at WHO, was on Channel 4 News. Yeah. And she said, we should use all the tools that we've got in order to reduce infections, amongst other things. But that's the key thing I took away from it, having listened to the Dr. McCullough thing. I thought, that is fantastic, but they're not. No. And then, literally about 5 minutes later, another bit of news about a pill that some company, I'll come to that in a minute, are bringing out, which is for taking, and it's kind of meant to reduce, basically kind of certainly reduce, either get rid of SARS, the COV-2, or reduce it, so you don't get into that kind of prolonged, syndrome, and then get into hospital and everything else. So, and they said, it's been developed by Pfizer. And you think, well, of course it has. There's pictures of it coming off, boxes of it coming out of the factory. And
now you've got all your vaccines.
So it's okay if it's them, isn't it? It's okay if it's them getting it to us, but there's probably loads of other things we could all use that we're not kind of given access to.
And
you know what I mean? Or they're discredited and told they're for horses, so we can't use them.
Yeah.
So that's what it was pretty upsetting to get to the end of it. Well, I didn't get to the end of it. I got kind of 3/4 of the way through, and you just feel a little bit let down. That's how I felt. Really let down that you can stop a lot of this, a lot of the illness, certainly a lot of hospitalizations, and ultimately a lot of deaths. And this guy was great because he said, I think vaccines are great. I've got vaccines. My kids have got vaccines.
Yeah.
He's not throwing it all out. He's going, there's plenty of things. It's a bit like when we talk about climate change and moving from kind of combustion engines to electric motors. It's that idea that we just have to rip it all off, bin one thing and then start a new thing, rather than this kind of blended approach. And use all the tools we've got. And move towards a kind of a better outcome. Why would you just discredit everything that could help you get there a little bit quicker?
Well, it's the binary approach. And I think that's one of the things that's interesting listening to Joe Rogan as I am. One of the things he keeps going to is that now we're in our tribes. He uses that, and I've used that a couple of times in Insta stories, and I do feel I know which tribe I'm in. And it's something I said to you a couple of days ago. The tribe I'm in, everything has anti or idiot in the description of my beliefs. Do you know what I mean? It's like we were saying before when we were talking about you leaving the European Union, you're either a Remain or a Brexiteer. We talked about that before. And I haven't put a story up today. I've got it on my phone, and I haven't decided. I was going to ask you live on air whether to put it up. So I've got quite a good bit of editing, actually. I'm quite proud of it. So 4 faces.
Right. Is this the quiz you talked about when you came in? You said there's a Christmas quiz.
No.
Is that a separate thing?
Well, you can identify them. Where's my...
You're right.
I was looking for my phone. Don't know where it is. Doesn't matter. So there's 4 faces. Yeah. And these people within the last 7 days have all made statements about people who aren't having vaccines.
Okay.
And what I put up to go on my Insta story was at the beginning of 2019, and I think Caroline Flack's death was one of the things that she killed herself, didn't she, after... There was a massive outpouring of, hashtag kindness and supporting people. Yeah,
we definitely talked about that.
Someone killing themselves very early on from something basically which was the pressure of social media.
Yes.
And this week, a female paramedic killed herself as well after getting a load of abuse. I think she was caught or seen or doing littering, and it became a story.
Wow, okay.
And she's killed herself. And what I was thinking was that all that outpouring of, let's be kind, let's think of other... And there is still quite a bit, and I put quite a bit on about killing people because it's relevant to mine and people around me. But also I think it's a very important thing because it's hitting men and because it's hitting men of our age more than anything else. And I think one of the things I liked was someone sort of saying, it was along the lines of, I'd rather spend my time listening to your moans now than grieving you when you're dead. It was almost that sort of the change of our approach can be, oh God, he's going on again about mental health. Why doesn't he show? Why does he have to post that? Why does he? And this person was sort of going, like, I would have put up with all of that because if it's a different position. And these two women obviously have taken their own lives. And why I was going to put this up, so I put this up at the beginning of the story, at 2019, at the start of this. Now, we've had 2 years of people's mental health, and I was looking at the figures. We're not going to go through it today, because obviously this is an uplifting end-of-year special.
Yes.
So this is maybe the only serious bit, but I was looking at the figures, and I've got them all written down, maybe for something later. The figures around mental health in this country are so off the scale. Like, children... adults, everything.
I imagine they're probably going that way anyway.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah. Of course, it'd be interesting to see what has happened.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said it's like it's gone from flatline to
no, totally.
I think things have been building, haven't they?
Yeah. And I don't think it is, but I think the levels of anxiety and also I think people's ability to talk about it more openly is something
and
as
the
well.
information that's available.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not just saying it is the pandemic, but it has had a big effect. So the point I was going to make in this was that the 4 people in this little square that I'd put up on my Insta story had all said things in the last 7 days that I took personally.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know whether I took it personally because it's not my narrative and it's like, I don't want you to criticise me.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's because with borderline, if anyone says anything that isn't validation, I get all moody.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know whether it's something that the vulnerability I feel is being heightened by the constant repetition of how bad a person I am for that decision. Mm. And I'm realising it's a slow drip.
Yeah.
And this is what I wanted to say very quickly.
It probably doesn't change in intensity.
No,
it's just that
it doesn't.
And that's why the drip's a really good one, because it's the same intensity each time. It's just constant.
But it's coming, and this is, and again, I'm never going to use the word conspiracy theory because it's been so misused to discredit people. Yeah. It's almost saying if you've got a view that isn't the mainstream narrative, then there's something wrong with you. If you're then proved to be right, it's like, well, yeah, but you're still a bit dodgy. So these 4 people come from 4 very, very different settings, and they have said the same thing, and they've used slightly different words. The first one was Jurgen Klopp, the manager of Liverpool. Yeah. He spoke about how he wanted all his players to be vaccinated and that there was no excuse for them not to be. Yeah. And then went on to say they'd be an idiot not to, and there's no good reason not to, and was very forceful.
Yes, he was.
And he has said this quite a bit. And actually, if you look on Liverpool FC, some of the supporters club's Twitter are all very, very, very pro-vaccine. There's quite a political stand by some of the Liverpool supporters. So I don't know where the backing of that is, but it's an interesting... Yeah. Having seen him be in the face, spitting in the face, basically, of a referee who he disagreed with the other day, my reaction, because he's been negative to a decision I've made, was... You're not 2 meters away. You are literally spitting in that guy's face. Yeah. You are intimidating him on national TV. Yep. And you haven't covered your mouth to hide your words. You want the whole world to know that you're calling him. Yeah. And he said something really nasty about that ref today. Yeah. About, I don't have a problem with refs, I just have a problem with you.
Right, okay.
Now, when he's smiling and, being the sort of silent assassin and going, you're idiots. And then I'm going... But your actions are very different. Yeah. If we're all taking care and these are the things and we're idiots for not being vaccinated. It's about being
responsible because he doesn't just talk about his players. He talks about, society as a whole, that we've all got to, that's kind of his lean, isn't it? We've all got a responsibility.
And wasn't it not long ago if you weren't a doctor, you weren't allowed to express these views? I don't think he's in a position to say everyone should have it because someone might listen to him who's a Liverpool supporter who shouldn't have it. You need to take medical advice, not football matches. That's number 1. Yes. Number 2 was the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was interviewed yesterday, and made basically, I've read the transcript, it was basically, Jesus would have wanted you to have a vaccine. Right.
Yeah, of course he would, yeah.
And I'm thinking, I thought Jesus went and put his hand on lepers and was like calm and, blah, 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 blah. But he used the words around morality, which was a very interesting, and he didn't go, you're immoral if you don't have it. But the insinuation was very strong. So it was slightly different from Klopp going, you're just stupid.
Yeah, but it's basically, it's morally right to do it.
It's morally right to do it.
You're morally right.
Exactly. So the intonation was, exactly what you said. You can come to your own conclusion. And it was quite he was referring to Jesus in it and sort of going. So again, I'm thinking, okay, so I've had a top sportsman tell me I'm stupid.
He was a bit of a rebel, wasn't he, Jesus, apparently?
Yeah.
He kind of liked to go against the grain, didn't he? If he hadn't have done, we would never have heard of him.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know which he would have done. I mean, I don't think using
there was thousands of people around at that time in that area. No one else kind of got in, no one else came out top. Do you know what I mean? No one else had another book written about him.
No.
I don't think. I mean, write in if I'm wrong. But
well, there might be, but not in his circle.
He stood out, and everyone was like, all the stories I've heard, it's like, yeah, he's standing out, isn't he? He's going against the grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the sports angle. Then we got the religious angle, and then Tony Blair.
Oh, I remember him.
He was responsible for hundreds and thousands of people getting killed.
Was he?
I know that's a bit of a rash statement, but it's true.
Allegedly, just for the lawyers.
Nope.
Wasn't he actually found guilty?
He's a war criminal. I don't think you can dispute that.
I don't think you can.
He
lawyers.
deliberately lied.
Mm-hmm.
That's been proven.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
The thing that he lied about was never found and was understood never to be found, and America backed him up.
Yeah.
And they said they were their weapons of mass destruction, and they weren't.
And it was an illegal war.
And it was a legal war.
So yeah, it's all.
And the person I think who was doing some of the inquiry, I think he killed himself, didn't he?
Allegedly.
So
on his dog walk.
So for Tony Blair to come with a similar attack as the other two, in quite I've seen the video.
It's good for him though, Mr. Identity Cards. It's good for him, isn't it?
Well, he also said,
vaxxed and we'll have an app.
Well, he's already said we need the fourth. Again, no medical, apart from the fact he's paid, I think, 8 million he's had so far from Bill Gates. But so he was saying how we are. I think he used the word idiots, and I can't even remember the fourth person.
Oh God!
Oh no, Shadid Javid.
Is that? Yeah. Is he? Yeah.
He basically was saying. Oh, well, Fauci used the words, if you're unvaccinated, it'll come and find you, in reference to the virus. Mm-hmm. And Javid said something basically about you're not a good citizen. And, we've had Karen Brady from West Ham going, you shouldn't be allowed to go into hospital if you're unvaccinated and receive any treatment. We've had Piers Morgan saying you shouldn't be allowed.
Oh, right.
So it's this constant attack. And the point I'm making...
So do they share the same view that if you go into hospital for, to be treated from alcohol poisoning? Yeah.
That's
where would they stand?
I think that was the answer. Drug overdoses, extreme sports.
If you're doing something to yourself,
and
you're putting yourself at danger, even maybe others potentially, then you don't get treated because it's, is that...
Or drunk driving,
or
because
it's not seen as morally questionable or...
I think drunk driving would be an even closer one because you could say that's obviously putting other people at risk if you do feel. So anyway, the point I'm making at the end of this very quickly is to say all this stuff about kindness seems to have... It now seems okay for people to call other people stupid, idiots, immoral from people in power. You couldn't do it with any other group. No other group. The most
you just talked about the Beano changing all the names.
Yeah. They're looking after,
Freddie,
not to offend people.
Freddie was probably overweight, right?
Well, they haven't changed him as a character.
Yeah, so he's still overweight.
Yeah.
But just not
alluding to it.
Giving him that nickname. Okay.
So, that was the point I was making. And I was just thinking, it's coming up to Christmas. It's the most emotional time. I know from my clients there's a high level of anxiety. And I just think every day for a major person to be given a platform to go, you're stupid, you're an idiot. And it's very playground language, isn't it? It's idiot, stupid, irresponsible. You're right. I just think if we're looking after people's mental health...
Yeah, but we're not though.
No.
So, that's taking a turn, Mark. I mean, I think they're all valid points.
After this will be fun and games. Come on then, let's go.
Do you want to...
Quiz.
Is there a quiz? You said there's a one-question quiz and everyone can take part, right? Is that right?
If everyone wants to just...
right?
We'll just... What percentage of Americans have fast food every day of their lives?
Give me a minute.
I reckon you'll be 3% out, just to say.
79%.
Ridiculous. No. Well, no, this is
ridiculously close.
No. Well,
what? ridiculously far away.
No, it's 37%. But now you've just like.
What? You've done this before. Ask me a
question. No,
you've
done it before. The answer you're meant to give is like 6%, Mark, and then I say 37. You say, "Oh my God, that's amazing."
Yeah, but you wouldn't have called me ridiculous then if I'd said 6.
Where can I go with 79?
You give me a choice. I presume I've got between 0 and 100.
Your choice should work out. It's something low to make me look good. You're not learning.
You're an idiot. You're a COVID idiot with a silly hat on.
Yeah.
So what? Sorry, what? 30? Was it 30 or what was it? 20?
37%. Yeah. I think that's quite high.
Okay.
It's not 79.
Is that it? Is that the Christmas quiz this year?
There'll be more questions.
Okay. You got any more now?
Not instantly. Right. I maybe haven't put as much preparation in this as I could have done. This isn't going to be our 3-hour one, is it?
No, because maybe our short one. But I just wanted to say we were talking about Dusty Ape at the beginning of all that.
God bless him.
That digression. So they're our unofficial coffee sponsor. So please do go to dustyape.com and buy some coffee because it's splendid. There we are.
Silky.
Smooth, right? So I got your present.
Yes.
In the last episode.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said I got you a present and it arrived the next day.
Yeah.
I brought it to training. He said, no, let's open it on the pod for everyone to share in the excitement and joy.
We did this last year,
or my embarrassment.
We did the presents.
We did. Well, I was thinking of that. We kind of, because your birthday is quite close to Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think you got last year from me. You got
last year it was as well. Yeah.
It's amazing. It doesn't move, does it? And I got you a present and a Christmas present, a birthday present and a Christmas present. So I thought, it's our first kind of pod, kind of birthday, and first pod Christmas, and it was a tough year, wasn't it? I thought it was a tough year, and then this year's a tough year, and you start to think, I've got to buy you something really nice every year. Well, we're going to have a tough year every year.
Yeah, I need to check with you, because if that's birthday...
Yeah, it's probably a joint now, because I haven't got you anything for Christmas.
No, you can't do joint.
Yes, I can do what I want.
So what happens now then? Do I have to buy you a Christmas because I didn't get you a birthday?
You'd have to buy me a Christmas. No, you don't have to buy me anything. That's not how it works.
Does in my mind.
No, don't worry. So I saw this.
Well, I might have something for you anyway, so that's by the by.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it with you?
No.
Okay, you better go out and get some of that, don't you? Right, so...
Okay.
Would you like to open your...
So...
No, and I did say it'd probably be one of those things... You might look at me and go, what you said? But I like to think it's be honest. You will be. That's what I'm worried about. Well, because the other thing I was thinking about, what do you buy a man that's got everything? What do you buy a tramp that's got everything? Right? Well, a new cardboard, a bit of cardboard to sleep on. I don't know that is cardboard. So
yes, I can sleep on this, or make a sign out of it.
Yeah.
I think I would be really humorous when I'm actually street homeless and I'm begging. Yeah. I think I'll have a different thought of the day every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon you would. Or a question.
Yeah.
And then you'd have a go at the public who are trying to answer. And
I know things like, please give generously, saving up for dance lessons, or...
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun tramp.
Did I tell you how long Joe Rogan's been podcasting for?
No.
12 years.
That
could have been the second question.
Yeah. Why are you opening it from the bottom? Why don't you just open it up from the top like a Normo?
That's where you open from.
It's the bottom of the box.
No.
Open it from the bottom then.
Do you think I'm just
idiot?
You just think... It can hardly surprise you.
This is too easy.
That I opened the box from the wrong side.
Yeah.
Well, wrong for you norms.
I've gone really practical on this.
Oh,
what?
I do this.
Before you've... Does it annoy you? Or do you annoy yourself?
I expect it, but I do it.
Do you talk people through it before they open it?
I didn't really want to get you this one. I wanted to get a bigger size.
No, I wanted to get you this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I really want to get you something practical. So I'm not doing it down. I think it's a good present.
But it could offend me.
Oh, no, it won't offend you, no. I don't think so.
Well, it's branded. That's the first thing.
Yeah, it's legit. It's not one of those Chinese knockoffs. Oh, sorry, China. What? Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
All that hard work wasted.
It looks like a jockstrap, but it's not.
That's great. No, it doesn't look like a jockstrap.
You just went, that's great. Well...
No, because I was about to explain why it's great, because that's what I do when I get...
We have an awkward moment.
Yeah. No. When I get a present...
Yeah.
I can't
do you critique it?
Yes, because I can't show elation.
Why? You're incapable?
Yes. So my face goes, it's a present.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
The point I was going to do...
Talk me through it. Talk me through your emotions.
I was going to justify why I have some degree of happiness at that present.
Oh.
So what it is, You know, I wear multi-layers.
Yeah.
Shorts, but then 17 tops.
Yeah.
When I go to the gym, I keep all those layers on. So there is a pile, basically a pile of tramps' clothes next to the bench press machine.
Yeah, right. So you get undressed as you go around, right? You wear less, and then you go back round again and put them all back on before you leave.
Yes, because then I know where I've been. So it's how I record what sets I've done. Yeah. So what also happens is I also take a lot of accoutrements with me. So car keys, phone.
That's what I was thinking.
Protein drink, protein
you
bar.
leave them everywhere. You've even lost your phone here. That's why I bought it.
I've lost it this morning. Yeah.
Now.
This evening. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, bearing in mind this is a bag.
Yes.
And it has a yoke.
A yoke? What's one of those?
You wear it like this.
Well, it's a proper man bag, isn't it? It's like what those,
Well, I'm a proper man.
Yeah.
That's how you wear it.
No, it's not how you wear it. You're meant to wear it like over a shoulder, like a sling. There you go. That's it. All the kids are wearing a Mark. They're all into them. So you do like it?
I love it.
Because I was thinking about your gym. When you get to the gym, you can hang it up on something, put all your crap in there.
Yeah, and it's all in one place.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Great.
It might not fit all your 1,000 hoodies that you take off when you're training, but and it's blue because you like blue.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, it's dark in here.
It's grey.
Shut up, it's blue. And it's Adidas, which is one of your favourites, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Very happy with that. You're going to leave it on?
Yes, I'm going to leave it off.
I like this thing when it's like when you get a new wallet. I love that time when it's quiet in the house. People are out. And you go, I'm just gonna take everything out of my old wallet.
Transfer it.
And just put it on the table. Then get your new wallet out. And then put everything back neatly. And then omit things that you never really wanted in your wallet. You know, the wallet will be just a disaster within days. Yeah. It's just that moment. It's lovely. You're going to go
pristine.
Yeah, you're going to go back
wallet.
And just kind of take the tags off and then actually think about. No,
do I need this?
You're just going to throw in the back. You're just going to throw it in the back of your car, and I'll see it about 3 weeks later, covered in McDonald's wrappers. And you'd have forgotten about it.
I wish iPhones would transfer as well as wallets do. Although I think they're getting better at it now.
What do you mean, transfer data?
No, everything. If I go from one iPhone to another, I lose.
You're not doing it right.
No, I think they do it for you in the shop now.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you ask nicely.
If I can find my phone.
Yeah. Is it in here?
I don't know where it is.
Oh.
It's not important.
Yeah, so, okay. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to wear it. Ah, so it is birthday. Right. Happy joint present.
No, Merry Christmas, Mark.
The sheep spends its whole life worried about the wolf, but gets eaten by the shepherd.
Oh.
Now, I reckon for our times, that is very pertinent.
So Merry Christmas, everyone, and we'll see you in 2022.
Okay, so far...
Oh, I thought that was your summing up, mic drop moment. Jerry Springer summing up.
No, I just thought it was interesting in terms of...
Go on, would you like to expound?
So...
Did you see this on the internet?
I don't know where I saw it, but if we look at the populace as the sheep, and I'm not making a judgment, I'm just saying, if we look at the populace, you have your wolves, you had your concern, which can be terrorists, it can be COVID, it's all the things you're looking out for.
Yeah.
But it's sort of thing that in a way, what's happening at the moment, the thing that's fucking us over is the government. It's
the thing that's meant to be looking after us at night.
And the shepherd is the person that does tend the sheep, or whose job is to tend the sheep, but it's also his job that their ultimate demise is determined by him. The wolf is an unreal threat for a lot of sheep. Yeah. And I just felt that's what's sort of happening at the moment, is that we all need like a sort of big hug. And instead of... hug. I've taken my bag off now. I thought was I not doing anything?
I don't know, in preparation for a hug, clearly, because you don't want anything to get in the way.
Debagged. No, I just feel that...
I'm not doing that.
I just feel like it was... when I was coming over, I was listening to a surfer being interviewed on a podcast, and he was saying about how come the media and the news aren't telling us about all the things we could do? How come they're not telling us to lose weight? How come? And we've said
just
this,
keep fit.
For months.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan said to him, that isn't their job. Their job is to keep us in constant anxiety, to make everything seem, far worse than it is, and get us stuck in our houses continually clicking on the next absolutely massive story.
Yeah.
And I thought that was right. And so I thought, who is the shepherd? Who is actually looking out for the welfare of people at the moment?
Yeah.
Because I don't think the government are serving the people, which is their role.
No.
I think they're managing something in their own inimitable way.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, is society, doesn't it almost need something that's in parallel to the government, that's basically there just to do good things, to share good practice, to share new initiatives, to have a way of letting everybody know, things that you could do to improve your life. And this is the bit I was going to say about China.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound controversial.
Are we going to lose listeners or gain them?
We're going to double our listeners.
Wow.
I follow one or two Chinese media and government sources on Twitter. And if I want some good news about life,
you said this before.
I go and read them. Yeah. They are positive. They show me videos of things that have been built, and I know, before anyone gets on a soapbox, I know exactly about human rights because we've talked about them before, and I know that I'm not saying that's a model to follow. What I'm saying is it's so uplifting, even if it's done under the pretext of communist rule, and even if it's done on the within the context of their terrible human rights, is that when they're saying things, it seems at complete odds to what we're fed from our media and from our government. Yeah. So I tried this for the last 2 days.
Right.
I've gone on to media and I've gone on to news, and the Chinese were saying something about particular harvest and something about limiting gaming for children and something about... And you could go, oh, well, this is all just propaganda. In a way, I'm not commenting on what's being said. What I'm saying is I couldn't find anything at all that made me smile about what's being fed to us in the UK. I didn't hear good news. I didn't hear, here's a breakthrough. If you do this, this and this will help improve your life. Or we're going to be setting up this. I heard all the money that's coming for the hospitality. Yeah. And hospitality going, that isn't helping us at all because it's around statutory sick pay and it isn't. But it was given as almost sort of, here's fantastic news. And I'm just thinking, going back to the mental health thing, why is good news in such scarce supply? Is it just because it just doesn't sell and people don't click on it? But I'm just thinking...
We're all glued to the... Well, I think I didn't say it in the last pod, but we're all kind of glued to the kind of news going, is Christmas on? Is it off? We're basically literally hanging on the words of a certain individual.
Yes.
In that kind of... Because we're wound up with anxiety and tension and anticipation and, confusion. And we're looking for the... we might even talk... I don't know, that podcast we're talking about was talking about mass psychosis, wasn't it?
Yes.
And the 4 stages of that, which is very interesting. And one of those is keeping us anxious, keeping us, constantly in fear and confused.
But why isn't there any balance? It can't just be down to revenues. It can't just be, we're just going to keep feeding them.
It's attention. We've talked about this before. It's attention, isn't it? That's what everyone's competing for.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Ears.
Yeah.
And that's justifies their existence, isn't it? I'm sure somewhere down the line, it probably is about, keeping the lights on, keeping everyone paid, making more money. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're all doing it for their health. But even clearly not doing it for ours.
No. But when something's reported, you can report any fact and then spin it, can't you? And so there was a fact today, and in fact.
Yeah, but we all know. We all sit around talking about these things. We're not, there has been moments in our, 92 episodes where we've talked about some positive breakthroughs and things, isn't there?
Yeah,
but generally the thing that's kind of, we keep going back for more, and there's stuff that kind of keeps you deep diving into things. But it is things that of kind of injustice and outrage, and they do fuel us.
But we have an undercurrent. When we were talking about addiction, we had an undercurrent because we said there might be a point, addiction 2.5, about giving, some hints and tips and some takeaways. And I was thinking about that in terms of there are things that that, you could make suggestions. We've had loads of talks about hydration, about just doing little exercises, about vitamin D. We've had a constant undercurrent of life might be shit, but here's some things you can do.
Yeah.
So that the one thing I was going to quickly say was, it came on today on the news, there are 15 cases in the whole of Scotland of Omicron in hospital. 15. And the way it was given was, we would have expected a lot more, but it's early days yet.
One of the advice could have been that to tune out of mainstream media.
Yes.
To turn your phone off.
Yeah.
To turn all the notes, just not being engaged with things that keep constantly giving you notifications about things. Actually, if you think about between, in the last week, if you'd not tuned in, life wouldn't be much different.
Right.
Would it?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, that's if I can just...
Apart from someone going, oh, have I got to put my mask on in a shop? Other than that, nothing else has happened. But we feel this kind of, we've been told about tidal waves.
Yes.
And, don't, almost like be afraid of the big bad wolf. It might look kind of meek and mild.
Yeah,
but
the shepherd's encouraging the wolf to get near, isn't it? Even if the wolf isn't there, he's telling the sheep.
But it could rip your face off at any given moment.
The leader of the wolf pack goes at the back, which I always think is interesting. So, point I was going to make, that's a really good point, what you're saying.
Thank you.
So I've made a bit of a decision today for two reasons. One was, I haven't written any of my novel for the last couple of days, but what I'm recognising is that the simplicity of life, even looking through rose-tinted glasses of, life was much easier then, because I think every generation does that.
Yeah.
I think it genuinely was. And I think genuinely the improvements to our life come at such a great cost that those improvements aren't improvements, because everything comes with a cost. So having instant access to information comes with a cost of having access to bad information or contrived information. Having the ability to buy anything on credit and get anything instantly, or even today when I was looking on Amazon at something, I realised, and I know what I say about Amazon, that I was going, I'll buy this instead of this because they're going to deliver it at 10 this evening. I don't need it for 10 this evening. But it's like, well, just to make sure that I get it for Christmas.
Yeah.
That doesn't improve my life in terms of that thing. It improves my life because I got it instantly.
If that person is for me, that really will improve your life.
Yeah. So I've made a decision that as from the new year, and I know always we talk about New Year resolutions, and why don't you do it now? I'm going to put massive restrictions on my... I'm going to censor my use.
Are you going to lock yourself down?
Not totally, because I don't totally want to be locked down.
Okay, so what restrictions are you thinking about?
Well, there's two things. One is the novel that I'm writing is set in 1979, 1980, and I'm recognising when I'm talking about certain events that have happened, I'm recognising the simplicity, the lack of... My mental health was way, way better, despite the fact that my life wasn't good then. I'd left home, I was still at school, I was working 2 jobs, I wasn't good mentally in some respects, but I didn't have all this burden of the world on my back. Do you know what I mean? All I had to deal with was my own demons. And the other thing was, on something I listened today, they were talking about a film that was set in 1973 that they just watched, 2 people I was listening to. And they came up with the same conclusion. It was, life was simpler, but probably was better.
Okay, what was tricky? Well, better because they were happier.
Better because
there was less crap in the world. Because there is an element of, I know what you're saying about technology, but there's always communication. There's always been communication as long as we've been able to bang sticks together. Do you know what I mean? We've been able to send messages. Yes. And those messages, have always been able to be manipulated at any point. We look back on history and go, well, we talk about propaganda. We talk about, when you're learning about First, Second World War, you talk about propaganda. Totally. Posters and radio messages. It's no different. It isn't any different. It's just, the channels have changed. The delivery has changed. The media has changed. But what the constant is the fact that humans have decided to use that for their own gain. It's happened as
yeah,
long as we've been on the planet.
I'm not disputing that. What I'm looking at is, for example...
But is someone saying it is better then than it is now? I mean, lots of people would arguably go, when I was younger I had no responsibilities, and we're talking about we don't have phones, but then, in 30 years' time people are going,
Well, they'll all be in the metaverse.
Yeah, I had the iPhone 12. Now I have the iPhone 38.
Yeah, and I know...
it was rubbish then. Yeah. Life was rubbish then, because I didn't, it didn't make my tea for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever phones are going to do in the future.
God, it's real tomorrow's world, isn't it? You've gone crazy. You really think they could do that?
You remember Henry's cat when he had the pill, and it was different. It was food, so he'd have the pill, and he goes, "Oh, that's like a roast dinner."
Yeah.
And then then pudding comes along afterwards. When
And that's
that was the future.
Well, that is where we are with those shakes that the government were doing, wasn't it?
Oh right, yeah.
And Huel, that.
Well ahead of its time, Henry's cat.
Yeah. The point I'm making is this. If you look at food's a prime example. I don't think food is of a better quality. The general diet, I don't think, is better than it was in 1980. Let's go back 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there wasn't the obesity there was 40 years ago. And that can only be down to food. So
that's only down to people eating it, right? It's not food's fault. It's a bit like technology. There's more technology now, but it's still how the people use it. There's more choice of food now. There's better farming now. There's better technologies to bring food from other countries to us now. Do you know what I mean? But it's not food's fault. It's not technology's fault. I know this is not what you're saying. I'm just kind of raising a point.
What I'm saying is
you can't. Diets are only as good as what we're putting in our mouths.
But you didn't
food in itself is completely
but you didn't walk down
harmless.
A supermarket in 1980 and have aisle after aisle of ice cream, of sweets, of breakfast cereals, of crisps. So it is food's fault because food has been manipulated.
It's not food's fault.
Food isn't a sentient being, is it?
Yeah, it's people behind food and in front of food and eating said food.
But why are we given highly processed food that isn't good for us? Why does that exist apart from the profit motive?
This is kind of cause and effect, isn't it? We're not giving it; it's made available, and we buy it because it's tasty and it's cheap, and that's why we don't eat good stuff, because it's fun.
Yeah, but food isn't. That isn't the purpose of food. The purpose of food is nutrition and health.
And fuel. Yeah, I get that.
And what we're doing is buying stuff that is making us, because of the amount we eat and what we eat.
We went way past that, didn't we? With consumerism and an abundance of literally everything.
Yeah.
Because as humans, we're just not satisfied with just the right amount. We're not happy with just the right amount of food in our bellies to make us, walk and make our heart and lungs operate during the day.
Yeah.
It's not enough. Nothing's ever enough, is it?
No.
For humans.
But that's what's happened.
That's not food's fault, is where I'm going. Okay. You leave food alone.
But that's the point I'm making, that news hasn't been enough for me. So every time I see something, I have the ability to get in so deep.
Yes.
So very quick example.
It could be food, Mark. You could have that kind of, you're an obsessive person about very many things, right? That could be food. It's good for you. I mean, the thing we've talked in the last 2 episodes, talked about one of the things you're obsessive about, and that wasn't good for you.
No.
Thankfully, one of the things you are obsessed about is working out.
Yeah. But my diet isn't good.
No, we all know that. That's why I talked about crisps and chocolate at the beginning of this.
Although I've stopped that completely. So anyway, let's get back to news. I want to
know what you're eating now instead of crisps and chocolate. What is it?
I don't eat any crisps and chocolate.
Oh, that's chocolate, isn't it?
No, going back to news. This is what I mean, more isn't better. Is that none of us know the truth about anything. We've discussed this before. We have discussed
the truth, the pathless land.
So if we use Epstein as a key example.
Oh, you really are.
Keeping it light for our Christmas special.
Yeah.
None of us will ever know the truth. We've talked about World Economic Forum and the Great Reset was trending on Twitter yesterday.
Right.
So obviously I was interested.
Yes.
And the second thing that came up was the BBC going, some idiots...
Is that what you read it? Oh, I'm one of them.
actually believe all this. Their first heading was like...
Oh, no, that was Mariana Tramp. What's her face?
Yeah, Faithful.
Spring.
No,
Mariana Faithful. Mariana Spring.
Yeah.
She was giving it here's, conspiracy and Great Reset. It's like, it's not a conspiracy. And she talked about the WEF.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hardly a conspiracy when it's literally...
The BBC line on it, not just her, the BBC official line is that this is a conspiracy theory. They weren't behind, and they've gone they weren't behind COVID-19.
Almost like there isn't a world government behind the Great Reset.
Yeah.
But there is a world government behind the Great... It's
they've written a book, and
Prince Charles is in it.
Yeah, and he met Schwab in 1992.
Yeah,
so 29 years ago they were meeting in Davos. It's not
fantasy, is it?
No, and people are listed as the young global leaders, and most of the politicians. Is that because it's rubbing
against the Build Back Better? It's kind of all known as the Great Reset. It actually sounds a bit cooler than Build Back Better, doesn't it? Well, can we just kind of stop talking about the Great Reset? It's much better marketing.
Yeah, but I think the BBC are like totally against, it's a conspiracy theory. And it exists. They publish their meetings. Yeah. You can look at talks. Yeah. I don't think anyone's denying it exists. And it isn't a conspiracy theory to go, those people are trying to change things in the world, because they say they are.
Yeah.
Bill Gates he's done another blooming long tweet today talking bollocks. So the point I was going to make was that when I saw the BBC, part of me thought, why are you working so hard to tell everybody that this is just, something that's brought around by idiots who don't really understand it? Yeah. So I did a little bit of digging, and I found a Freedom of Information request to the BBC. And it said, "Dear BBC, you don't seem to like the World Economic Forum."
This is points of view, right?
Yes, with Barry Took.
Yeah, sorry. You don't seem to like the WEF. Yeah, no,
it was. You don't seem to like it. Could you please, under Freedom of Information, tell me how many of your staff are affiliated to the World Economic Forum? Because I think they sent something like 43 journalists to the last thing in Davos, which is a lot of coverage.
It is, yeah.
I don't think we heard anything, but they did send a lot of journalists.
They had a great time.
And they hadn't answered in time, the BBC.
Right.
You've got to answer in a certain amount of time.
Right.
So the letter went, "You've fallen outside the time. I'm repeating the question, or else I'll go to the authorities to get an answer." And they wrote back and they said, under Freedom of Information, any request that will cost more than, I think, £450 does not have to be answered.
What, to investigate?
To investigate. Based on £25 an hour rate, it would take more than 2.5 days for us to give you this information, because we would have to go to every one of our employees
and ask them if they went.
Ask them if they were affiliated to the World Economic Forum.
Someone go around with a clipboard. "John, did you go to the World Economic..." "No, thank you, John. Have a great day, won't you? How are the family and kids?" So I've got to move on, haven't you? I'm getting paid by the hour.
But so they basically said, "We can't do it for 450 quid, so sorry, we're not going to give you an answer." And that's where it rests. And I'm sort of thinking,
why don't they do that to everything that comes in?
Yeah.
Just send that back. If that's the end of the story.
Yeah. And if it is just a conspiracy theory and it's nothing to do with anything, surely you could just do a quick questionnaire and go, "We don't know how many people are affiliated, but
surely there's a
list of who
a press
went.
list, right? And it says who they are and what media outlet they're from."
Or you could say which members of senior management attended the Davos meetings.
Yeah.
So that's a case in point where I've deep dived into something when I could have been doing something like bicep curls.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is restrict my burrowing activities.
If you restricted your burrowing activities and did bicep curls, I can't imagine how big your arms would be. Popeye. You wouldn't be able to get through the door because your elbows would just be sticking out too far.
Exactly. But I think that's one of the things that I was thinking as well for us doing pods going forward about giving positivity and stuff is I could have gone to the gym today and I didn't. And if I'd put together the bits of time when I was staring at my phone, doing something that I have no control over, getting upset or getting angry or getting aggrieved, which aren't positive.
So where does Joe Rogan's podcast sit in all this?
Joe Rogan's podcasts, for my mental health at the moment,
they're good, are they, for you?
Yeah.
Good.
And so what I'm doing is not picking... This is the first thing. So what I don't do is go, I want to hear him talk to Jordan Peterson, because that will be more confirmation bias, and I don't want him. So I've listened to an Ecuadorian cage fighter, a Hawaiian surfer. I'm listening to people, taking it on board, being entertained by it, learning a couple of things.
Yeah, that is.
Then going on to the next one.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a good decision.
Yeah.
As long as that time isn't then wasted by...
That is one of the things that, as part of a takeaway, what do you then put in place of that?
My novel. So today, 2 things I didn't do. I didn't write one word on my novel, and I didn't go to the gym.
Oh.
And I told myself it's because I had a busy day. But I know that I was doing stuff that could have been dropped, that hasn't taken me anywhere. So yeah, and this isn't a New Year's resolution as such. It's just the time has come to a bit of accountability on the pod and go, and so maybe that's the takeaway.
Because I was finding that, I think we touched on the last one, that you can't, there's so many layers of lots of stuff that it's hard to tune out. It's hard to unsubscribe.
Yeah.
Because then you go into work, you see some people, and then suddenly the latest chat is about the thing you're trying to avoid, and then suddenly, I find myself going into it. We've had we've had pods that didn't happen a couple of times because I was just freaking out because of just everything, and then coming here to talk about those things again, it's just like, my cupboard fulleth. It is really hard. Because you just find yourself going into that. I think there's still that element of what I struggle with. I feel I need to know, because it's not like it doesn't affect me personally. It doesn't affect my work life and my team, my working team. So I feel I have to be abreast of some of those things. And it's really hard. It is really hard to dip your toe in, because it pretty much just takes, the shark. The shark comes out, or the wolf. And
it's a bit like a millefeuille.
Millefeuille. Well, they're those big tasty cakes from Patisserie Valerie.
But they're multi-layered, aren't they?
Yeah.
All those layers of pastry. All I really need is a couple of layers of pastry and the nice sugary bit on top.
Yeah.
I don't need...
No.
And that's what I'm doing with news. I'm now I know that they've declined the freedom of information. All that's done is confirm my confirmation bias that the BBC are trying to hide stuff about the World Economic Forum. And whether I'm true or not... But
that is another good thing. You can replace it with other things. I guess you're kind of curating the things that you need in your life, aren't you?
Yes.
Which is, something we ought to be kind of looking at if we want to get a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's even around conversations, and this is the final thing, I guess, that I was going to say to you today, because I had these in my mind. One was around, and this is happening with other clients, is that the anxiety and the discomfort about life at the moment is flooding into people's lives at every opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm finding we've always had discussions, but you've always worked out. And at the moment, you're not quite as strong as you were. So the workout isn't going to be an hour of, heavy lifting. Yeah, but I think what I want is that the gym should be a sanctuary. I don't want to be in a position where I'm adding to people's anxieties, even if it's allowing you to go, God, bloody COVID, shit. It's around, that could be somewhere where I escape. I go to the gym to totally escape from worries. And I think because everything now is so overbearing that it's flooding into things that there is no need to be anxious about COVID and what's happening in the world when we're in a cold garage lifting bits of metal. And I think that's the bit I'm saying about going back in the day. It's getting things to a much more simple level.
Yeah.
And you can be aware of what's going on around the world and you can have an opinion. But if you're coming there to lift weights, just let's lift weights and listen to shit music. Do you know what I mean? It's
I haven't listened to your shit music in ages.
No.
I missed that.
Yeah. We could do another top 100 for next year, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could.
there's a playlist to my novel, which I think is quite a good idea.
Oh, you mentioned that. That's a good shout. Are you going to be able to kind of read excerpts of your novel out on here?
Well, we're going to do that audiobook I mentioned to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. You were going to get Stephen Fry to narrate it. What? He narrates everything.
He does, doesn't he? I'll ask Joe Rogan.
That's a good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to read some of it if you'd allow me.
Yeah.
Now, this is the kind of a bit of a nerd. You are backing this up. We've talked about this before. You are backing this up, right? So the last thing I want you to do is write your 70,000 words or whatever you're trying to write.
70,000, yeah.
And then go, oh, balls.
When you say backing it up...
My Word doc's corrupt.
No, I'm not backing it up.
Are you writing it in a Word doc?
Yep.
Is it on the cloud or is it just on your computer?
It's in my computer.
Well, let's speak about this off air.
The laptop I set on fire with the candle.
Yeah, that one. I don't. Honestly, it gives me a heart attack.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's stuff I should be doing.
Every episode I do here, I back up into this little hard drive here. See that?
Yeah.
You need one of those and you need to put that on there.
Okay.
Every day you write. We'll sort you out after.
Okay.
AOB, Mark. I feel really Christmassy now. Whoa.
It is.
I'm bang up for it. It's what I look forward to. You know Christmas has started when you're having a good old...
It is. It's like the Queen's speech, when you're EastEnders.
And Mark's great reset. His fridge door reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't think I can lift things anymore.
What? Oh, you're retiring from the gym? What? That was quite a bombshell. Should we end on that? Should we?
No, I just think, Well, we just said...
Who's going to put the weights on the end of the bar for me? And bring me coffee in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh. Speaking of which, I shall see you then, I guess, next, won't I? Tomorrow morning, bright and early. Is that our last session before Christmas break?
Yes. Yeah.
You are giving me... Am I allowed a break, mister?
Yeah.
Please give me a break.
Yeah. And we'll have...
I'm so weak at the moment. I know it's awful. I'm not embarrassed by it, but it has. Yeah. It still ain't right. I'm in a bit of a relapse today, but yeah.
You'll get there, though.
Technically long COVID now. I'm a statistic. What? Shut your face. 4 weeks. 4 weeks after, I am. Look at you. What? What?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's affected me.
Yeah.
Won't be the same ever again.
No.
Any other business, Mark, before I wrap this Christmas present up and deliver it to our lovely listeners?
I was listening to a pod the other day when they were saying the sort of, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year sort of thing, because it's the last one they were doing, and I was thinking...
Screw that.
No, I was thinking, I think you get an attachment to podcasts in a way.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't explain why people stick with us.
No, I have no idea. I've no idea.
No, I haven't. But I think there is that sense of sort of community in a way. I mean, I have a loyalty to podcasts, and when Sam Harris went off on one, and I felt a bit like...
You can't talk about loyalty and Sam Harris in the same sentence anymore. No. You dumped him like an oily rag.
Yeah. But the point I'm making, I guess, is that I do feel a connection with people that are listening, because I think people are listening for a reason. We don't know what those reasons are, but people do keep listening, and I think that's...
Yeah.
It's a massive boost to me, and... I think it's a real compliment. So when it does come to the end of the year, it is like... You're
going to get all emotion and start...
No.
You're going to do a big thank you speech. Come on, it is. I can see you.
I did this with...
You're crying.
I'm not crying.
You are.
I did this at the end of therapy. I got so emotional on bloody Zoom. That was ridiculous.
Did you? Did you cry?
Yeah. I've just left my next therapy as well. I didn't cry on that one. No, I did on the big one, the 34-week one.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did cry on that. I think that was the last time I cried, actually. But no, I think it's just the point. The point I'm saying is I think I do feel some more than just a passing connection with the people that are listening. I just think it's a real compliment. Was listening today, I looked at some figures. They reckon there's 2.5 million podcasts.
Right.
There was 1 million at the start of the pandemic, and there's 2.5. And you just think that's a lot of choice.
Yeah.
And the people choosing us is just... Yeah, it's just, I think it's fantastic.
No, thank you for listening.
Yeah, indeed.
That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening to us this year and last year. Remember, you can follow us on the socials by searching for imfinecast, and feel free to drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com. Or if you like my mum, just get Mark's personal email off LinkedIn and send him an email. In the next episode, well, that's next year, so we'll worry about that when we get there, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So have a good holiday season, because you have to be... what?
Have a good Christmas.
Oh, God, you can't say that. We've got an international audience. They don't all celebrate it, Mark.
It's still Christmas.
You just said how you have a connection. Huh?
It's still Christmas. No.
It's not Christmas to the people who don't celebrate Christmas, is it? There's no point wishing someone a happy Christmas if they're not having a Christmas. I don't care how smart you are not having me on that one. You're not.
I'll come back to you next year on that one.
So I'm kind of, encompassing our global audience and saying happy holidays. And don't say if they're not on holiday, they don't even start.
Oh, yeah, no, you've won that argument, actually. I'll give in. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Legit?
Yeah, because holiday isn't just a change of the word holy day being referring to Christmas. Thank you. Good night. Amen.
All right. We'll go. Bye-bye.
Bye.